Okay, guys. So this wasn't a video that it was really hard for me to decide. Okay. I did do some reviewing of older fights before I made the video, but I kind of already knew where I was going with this fight. Um, Luis Ortiz, failed drug tests and all, is a guy that I always thought was highly ducked. Okay. I remember the first time I saw him fighting when he was with Golden Boy on Fox Sports 1. I thought he was a beast. Okay, he was just different from the majority of these heavyweights that we have today. I knew right away that he's dangerous for anyone. Okay, um, no, he doesn't have the biggest fan base. Out of the top heavyweights that we've had over the past 3 or 4 years, he's probably the most unpopular. Okay, he just doesn't have the fan base. All right. But besides that, he is one of the most dangerous heavyweights out there. He can very well possibly beat Wilder, Joshua, Parker, Klitschko, Fury, Povetkin, Pulev. He might possibly be the best heavyweight. We just haven't been able to witness it because I think he's been ducked. I think part of it is because his failure of his drug test. But I don't think anyone at any point really wanted to fight this guy. Why? The money is not there. He doesn't have a big fan base. The risk and the rewards just don't really match up fighting Luis Ortiz. Okay. Unfortunately for Wilder, he's got stuck with him some way. Okay. He's stuck with him now. I don't think Wilder ever wanted to fight this guy. I don't believe Anthony Joshua wanted to fight this guy because he can ruin what we all want to see. He could be the reason on why we might not see Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. But if you take the fact that, and I'm saying this because I already know what people are going to come in my comments and say, remove the fact that Luis Ortiz is not popular, because he's not. He's a very good fighter, well experienced. All right, the guy has a crazy amateur, almost like 400 amateur fights. Okay, his technique is on a different level. Okay, he has a lot of power. All right, he moves well. He has good defense. All right, he's a good counter puncher, a good body puncher. He fights well on the outside, has long arms, and fights very, very good on the inside. I don't know if he's the best heavyweight because we will have to wait and see. All right, he could very well get knocked out in this fight against Wilder. But as far as the complete package, he is the complete package. Okay, I had to put that out there. I had to make that very clear. Okay, his experience level and his technique is on a different level from the majority of the top fighters that we see. I'm not saying he can't be beaten. Okay, Wilder does have a shot. Joshua has a shot. All these guys have a shot. But I see something different in him than the other fighters. I think if he had a different look, if he was from a different place, but fought the exact same way, he would be more popular. He would be more recognized. Okay. Part of it is damage that he's done with his own career by failing the test for the Latif Coyote fight and leading into this Joshua fight. Okay, he had a couple of fights that weren't impressive. A lot of people like to bring up the Malik Scott fight. Well, I personally think Malik Scott took a dive against Wilder. I can't prove that, but I personally believe that. All right, I've seen the fight. I've seen the knockdown countless times. I can't prove it because Malik Scott seems to always be in some kind of mess when he's fighting with someone. He didn't fight Ortiz at all. He just ran away and stayed, and he still got knocked down like 5 times in that fight. Okay? But have we really ever seen Luis Ortiz lose a round? Have we ever seen him lose a round? I'm not saying that he didn't fight. He did not fight the best. But I believe he didn't fight the best because this guy has been highly avoided. Who wants to really fight him? People will fight him if they have to. But who's called this guy out? Who's really pushed the fight? You know? A lot of people will say Wilder. I don't believe so. Okay? Wilder has come out recently, last fall, was saying that he wanted to fight Ortiz. The fight was going to happen. Then the fight was supposed to happen. Ortiz pops on a drug test over some blood pressure medication. Okay? They suspend him, and then they unsuspend him right after. It's kind of weird, but whatever. You know, I already got into that in the past about the WBC rankings and how messed up it was. Okay? How they moved Severn in front of him. I didn't like any of that. Okay? But it is what it is. This fight here, I don't think it's a 50-50 fight. I think Wilder has a puncher's chance because he can knock out anyone with that right hand. That right hand right now is probably the most powerful punch in all of boxing. Okay? That right hand, if he lands clean with full power, he probably can knock out any heavyweight. Period. Okay? The problem is Deontay Wilder is a one-trick pony. All right? I've seen him hurt. Okay? By guys that are not on his level or nowhere near Ortiz's level. Okay? I've seen him lose plenty of rounds. I've seen him be getting outboxed. Okay? And I've seen him fight a bunch of guys that made it very easy for him. None of them really countered him. You know, he fought freely in the majority of his fights. Okay? Just shooting the jab out there, comfortable. Because no one was there to counter him with a jab. Luis Ortiz is going to be doing that. Luis Ortiz, from the outside, is going to give Wilder problems. And that's where Wilder fights at his best. Okay? Ortiz have the foot speed in order to keep and stay in the proper distance in front of Deontay Wilder, unlike Severn. Severn is too slow on his feet. Severn has some skills. Okay? He can counter. He does have power. But he was too slow on his feet to keep up with Wilder. Wilder was comfortable of where the distance was. Whereas Ortiz can get closer. All right? Throw those straight lefts to the body. All right? Counter him with a right hook. Wilder hasn't fought anyone to prepare him for a fighter on this level. Okay? You thought Spilka was giving a hard time to Wilder, like most people would say. I thought Wilder was losing that fight by a round. Okay? Spilka is nowhere near on a level as Ortiz. Okay? It's nowhere near. Plus, he has the punching power to go with the technique and the fundamentals that he has. All of these advantages he has over Wilder. Wilder is a good athlete. He is quick. Okay? He does have quick hands. All right? He knows how to time that right hand. He's very good at it. But what happens when you fight a far more advanced fighter than the guys you've been facing all this time? A southpaw at that. Okay? Now, what I believe is, I think Ortiz is slowly on the downside. Slowing down a little bit. From the time that I first seen him as a professional, from the time I see him today, he slowed down quite a bit. All right? He's not athletic. All right? But barely. Not enough where it would cause him much problems in this fight. And God forbid this fight goes several rounds and Wilder starts slowing down from the body shots, okay? Or just in general, trying to keep this guy off of him. And Ortiz is able to get on the inside. That's when it really gets dangerous. It's going to get really dangerous at that point. You know? Wilder's best chance of winning is hopefully landing the right hand. Okay, we saw that he was struggling a little bit against Gerald Washington, another fighter that is an unexperienced fighter, you know, that is just nowhere near Ortiz's level. All right, nowhere near. All right, but Wilder was struggling. He lost the first 3, maybe 4 rounds against Gerald Washington. Okay, but Wilder quickly turned it around by landing the right hand. And listen, if Wilder's losing a fight, which he has, in my eyes, twice, where he was losing a fight, and he lands the right hand, it saved him. It saved him. You know? If that's what it takes to win the fight, that's cool. But what if you're down on points? What if you're down on points? and you can't knock the guy out. What if the guy is a little bit more durable than these other fighters that you fought? Because Stavern was very durable in that first fight. Wilder was landing the right hand all night long. What about Duhapis or Duhapar? What about him? He was taking the right hand all night long. What if Ortiz is just as durable as those two, yet he's outboxing you at the same time? What do? What is your other go-to? He has a decent left hook. You know, that's the left hook that he dropped Malik Scott with. All right. The one that hit Malik Scott's gloves that when he went down. Yeah. That left hook. It's a good left hook. Okay. But he needs more than just throwing one shot at a time. Okay. He needs more than that. Where are the combinations? You know, and when he is throwing combinations, it's only because he has his opponent hurt and he starts swinging all crazy like a crazy man, missing, and the ref will jump in to stop the fight. You know, this is the different. He's fighting someone on a different level from the Staverns, from the Gerald Washingtons, from the Arthur Spilkas. This guy is an elite heavyweight, an elite. He might not have the fan base behind him, but based on what we see, he's on a different level. Okay? I know he didn't knock out certain fighters in an amount of time where people were overly impressed. But when did he lose a round? And what fight was he losing? Was he struggling in? I've never seen Ortiz struggle. You know? I've never seen him struggle. I think he might have lost one round to Brian Jennings. Okay? But we saw what happened to him. Brian Jennings, who, you know, at that time, back then, people thought Brian Jennings was a good opponent for a Deontay Wilder. You know? So, with all that being said, I think Ortiz is going to win this fight. Whether it goes by decision, whether it's by knockout, stoppage, whatever, I don't think this is a 50-50 fight. It's unfortunate because, I mean, obviously I could be wrong. Obviously, Wilder could win the fight because dude has crazy power. All right? But if he is to lose this fight, which I think he will, we won't be able to see that Joshua fight that we all want to see. Okay? Or Parker or whoever it is that's going to win that fight. You know? I don't think this fight is as close as the Joshua Parker fight. This fight is not a close fight. I think Wilder will lose regardless of whatever way it goes. I think he's going to lose this fight. Okay? Unless something crazy happens. I'm hoping the fight actually happens because, you know, Ortiz and his drug test and Wilder has several opponents where the fight was canceled. Okay? Hopefully it actually does happen. That's what I'm hoping. I remember the last time this fight was announced, I didn't do a breakdown for it because these very reasons. I'm hoping that it was canceled before. Hopefully Ortiz got his stuff together and we can get the fight. Okay? But I see Wilder clearly getting blown away in this fight. You know, especially after the first couple rounds. I think that it would change. Ortiz volume is high. He's very aggressive. He's very sharp. He has power. While they're fighting on his back foot, eventually he's going to go to the ropes. And that's when it's all over. You know, Wilder has taken big hits. I've seen his face all lumped up for guys that's not really that good. All right. Fighting Ortiz, this has nothing to do with my personal feelings that a lot of you think I have against Wilder. I'm saying it straight up, like, Ortiz got this fight, you know. Unfortunately, one of these guys had to fight Ortiz, and unfortunately for Wilder, it's him. Okay? So, let me know what you guys think. I have Ortiz winning. I think this is like a 70-30 fight, not a 50-50, not a 60-40, like a 70-30. I think Ortiz, outside of having that one punch knockout power, which he does have power, he does knock out like everybody he faces. I think Wilder's only advantage here is that right hand that he has because it's a game changer. he needs to change the game and find a way to land that shot. But you finding an experienced fighter like this, he's expecting you to use that right hand. He's expecting. You have to show, Wilder will have to show something that I haven't seen from him yet in order for me to believe that he's going to win this fight. All right? So that's my breakdown of the fight. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.